Time to rewind and open your mind. No late fees to annoy you this time. Video store might be no more, but we're digging up movies worth watching them for. Welcome to Video Store Graveyard, where we dig up movies worth watching and sometimes send them back to the graves where they came from in the darkest pit of hell or whatever, so that no one has to deal with them again. But we'll tell you about it either way. I'm Dano, as always, joined by
Andrew
and Tex.
And this week we are examining one of Italian horror's great directors, Lamberto Bava. No, we're not examining Lamberto Bava, although he's a great Italian director. He
Lucio
directed Demons
Fulci.
and Demons 2. This is Lucio Fulci. Great giallo director, and I'm sorry if I mix. Like, sometimes my Italian guys all run together, especially when I'm really wanting, like pizza or something. I don't know.
We can't have any mistakes ever.
Yes. No mistakes. No mistakes. Okay, so Lucio Fulci directed a great little number of nasty film, one of his giallo movies known as The New York Ripper. It is filmed some in New York, some in Italy, and it is essentially your Jack the Ripper tale thrown into New York, hence the name. A killer roams the streets of New York doing nasty stuff to the ladies out there and just brutalizing them in the worst way possible. Lots of graphic sexual imagery in this one. This is almost as exploitation as you can get. I think the year on this was what, guys? 82?
1982.
Yeah.
This came up in one of our other podcasts during quiz time.
Yeah, when did we talked about this like early on? Maybe in episode 1.
I think episode 1.
Yeah, we
No,
referred
was it? Yeah. No, episode
this
was
this nastiness. This was my second time watching this with you guys, and I have to tell you, there were a couple of moments where I was like, Jesus Christ!
And there will be spoilers, everyone. So there will be
spoilers, so you're
it
warned.
Was just a little bit much at times.
Oh, really?
At about what you would expect, though, from one of the goriest directors of Italian cinema of that time, Lucio Fulci, known for other greats such as House by the Cemetery and, of course, the Zombie, which was billed as a sequel to Dawn of the Dead in Italy, and it appeared in the U.S. as Zombie 2, and we'll talk about that one another time. But
I want to jump ahead to the nipples.
Yeah, the reason I bring it up,
I want to jump ahead to the nipples. I just got to say, it's so exciting. I got to just get out there and say it. In this movie,
talk about the nipples.
We see a woman's nipples be split in half. It's one of the gory scenes that Dana was talking about, and I thought it was just that important to just jump ahead and just say that. Okay, I got it on.
That's where I was getting.
Well, let's just put it out there. This movie is not afraid to show nudity. They show it various times throughout the whole film, many times.
Awesome.
And it's definitely not afraid to get sexual either, for sure, at all.
And
kind of gross sexual sometimes too.
Yeah, well, and that's the Italians for you when they're doing horror.
Oh yeah.
it's a
disclaimer.
Kind of horror.
We like Italians.
I love Italian, and I love Italian horror.
Dude,
Some of my absolute favorite horror movies are Italian, especially the ones of Dario Argento. Of course, Lucio Fulci being one of his contemporaries. And I'm glad you jumped right to the nipple, and I figured you'd go right for the nipple, Tex. We had when I was leading into the gore effects in this movie, which he's so known for. That splitting that really splitting scene, which he's so good at these sorts of effects, reminded me of the slow-mo pull into the eye of the splinter of the door from Zombie, which is another one of those of like, oh my gosh, I don't know if this is like, I'm not a squeamish guy for horror movies. I don't think you guys are either. And I probably like put my hand up, even though I was peeking at some of those sequences in this movie. I don't know how you guys feel.
With your hand?
Put it up to my face and looked through, like peeking through, like the fingers.
Oh,
I wasn't doing anything else with my
His
hand
head
during
is
this
somewhere
movie.
else.
I heard you. Never mind.
I wasn't pulling on Paul Rubens, if that's what you mean.
There was a lot of nudity, so I
There
wasn't
was
sure.
a lot, but it's not nudity like fun nudity. It's nudity like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening.
Well, let's not. Okay, hold on
well-
a second. There is a beginning scene
Unless you're
where,
into the
you know,
darker side of hentai.
when they're in that sex store, and that's supposed to be intentionally like fun nudity, where they're all like, they're watching the people do it. That's more, I'd say, fun nudity. The rest of it is not.
Right. You brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up because you were talking about this from the Apocrypha files. I'll gladly admit we attempted to talk about this film once before.
Oh yeah.
Before you had mentioned the gritty side of New York that they weren't afraid to show.
Oh, yeah, the old school New York.
See, I'm appalled by, or not, appalled's not the word. I'm, intrigued by this because I didn't know about this kind of stuff, and you guys were educating me on this side of New York because I didn't.
Yeah.
Movies today don't even show this kind of New York at all. Period. Even if it exists.
And for the record, this movie I felt like this movie did a really good job with the cinematography, filming in New York. Like, you're in New York City. You see all the landmarks. You even see the Twin Towers, which, that was
Right.
a little haunting. But there's all these scenes that just, I feel like New York City is a big character in the movie. And yeah, back in the day, New York City, especially like Times Square, for example, that wasn't always a nice, pretty place for a family to go visit. There was a lot of sex shops and porn stores and hookers. It had a really bad reputation, and of course that's all different now, but it was kind of cool seeing that old side of New York on film, and
Right.
And also the film quality itself was actually pretty good, I thought.
Well, yeah,
it was.
I want to back that up because the movie does a very, very, very good job of showing the bad side of New York, the dark side, all the crime-ridden side of New York, all these nasty, perverted people going to the sex shows, not stores. I want to keep saying stores, but shows that they actually show.
Both.
Hey
But they do
man,
also
just
show
because
stores
they're
as well.
just because they're going to the thing doesn't mean they're depraved. They're just going to watch depraved shit.
I'm not knocking.
What do you think it is we do?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm nostalgic for old New York. Who knows?
But
it's pretty interesting to see that, through eyes who have not seen that before.
also, let's not forget that Donald Duck pays a visit to this movie as well.
Yeah. Well, we should discuss why that's in there because
Yeah,
it should be highly noted that the film that we watched, the version we watched, was an English dub of the Italian dub. So that's why that's in there. We have no idea if that's in the original or not. It should. It might be.
The duck voice killer is definitely in the original.
I mean, they tie it to the rubber ducky.
That's part of the whole
That's true.
dealio. Now, granted, it's not Disney's duck, but it is a duck-sounding guy. But that has to do. That's a rich history of animal imagery and sound in this particular Italian horror genre, giallo genre. Four Flies on Grey Velvet, other all kinds of different ones that have an animal correlation. There's The Black Belly of the Tarantula, another Italian horror movie that's giallo. So you've got animal imagery and graphic bloody killing, which is a hallmark of this type of film. And I think it has a little bit to do with the idea of the prey and the predator, and the predator and being an animal hunting down its prey. So
Right.
This particular deal, this was Fulci called this much less of a horror movie than his previous films, No Zombies, but a killer working in the dark. He also did this as a tribute to Alfred Hitchcock, as he called it, and it has, I can see that in some of the ways he did this. But anyway, I will say this: this did not have, as well as it was shot, and as intense as the subject matter was, and as memorable as some of the sequences were, I did not find this particular horror movie of Lucy. It's not on my top of my list for Lucio Fulci, and it's definitely not on my top of my list for the genre of giallo, mainly because I think it crosses a barrier between the artistic imagery into exploitation territory. In some ways, the killer almost gains even more supernatural ability in some ways, and by that I mean, how do they know exactly where everybody's going to pop up? Now that's a hallmark of horror, but you don't see, at least sometimes in some of these other Italian horror movies that the killer is stalking somebody, there still is, they're not going to appear 5 blocks away coming out of the train station or whatever. Maybe not.
And there's a detective too. That's
yeah.
a big part of the story. That's trying to keep the story grounded. Like he's investigating. He's trying to find out who the murderer is, and so yeah, that goes along with what you're saying.
But yeah, most of this movie is also a cop drama as well. It is more of that and less of horror. But maybe this movie is like kind of a different kind of horror. This is the way I see it. It's not your typical horror movie. Like, it's scary for other reasons. And yes, there's blood and gore and all that.
It's scary for women.
That's what I was gonna, segue into. It is scary for women because there's a lot of
a lot of hate for women in this movie, I would say.
I would say
it's been
that,
called
for
misogynistic,
sure.
Yeah. The plot in general is misogynistic, as the nature of the misogynistic killer. Now, here's the thing: do we give the reveal or not? I say we do.
Yeah. What about the foot? The foot under the table?
Say we do. I was going to say.
The foot. Oh yeah, I didn't even talk about the toe. And the toe and where it did go.
Yeah, there's just no way to bring that up.
Let's just not even do it.
You just got to ram that toe in there.
I will say it was the most memorable scene in the movie for me because it took a left field turn out of horror movie straight into just like grotesque sexual exploitation. So this turns the movie gets turned on its head by a reveal, kind of like the opposite of Sleepaway Camp, I guess. You find out that this sadistic killer of all these women, who seems to be doing it out of some sort of woman-hating, misogynistic ritual that you think would be from the typical male. Well, no, it's a woman that's doing it, and that kind of turns everything around, and also once again makes the movie even more misogynistic because you made your graphic killer a woman too, not just the victims. So this movie hates women, and I hate it.
And just so everyone's clear with the toe, what we were referencing with that was one of the sexual scenes, because there's many sexual scenes in this movie, and there's this scene where they're in a bar, and one of the main women goes into this restaurant or bar or something during the day, and this greasy dude starts putting his foot under the table in between her legs, and boy, it goes on for a while.
They're harassing her at first.
They show that foot
up
close
more and more
too. Yeah. I didn't need to see the foot, and she really liked it. It seems like, but she kind of didn't. But
yeah,
she did.
It's kind of rapey at that.
They're
part.
Totally, yeah, it's very rapey. It's toe rape is what it is, and they're harassing her the whole time at first. Let's just see how much we can get away with. And finally, she leaves.
Yeah, but she left after a while.
Well, yeah, I know, but it's that's I guess another statement in and of itself. Either way,
left immediately.
Either way, I could feel both of them probably need a shower after that. One needs to wash the toe.
Yeah, they show that toe, and it's like, oh man,
yeah, man.
Greasy toes, man. That's nasty, dude.
I can't believe it. Anyway, forget about the toe. Let's forget about the toe. So anyway, this movie is a nasty movie. It's a slasher. It's exploitation. If you want depraved, brutal, bloody killings, grotesque, gore-filled murders, lots of nudity and sexual graphic imagery, and all in the lovely setting of old, nostalgic, crime-ridden New York, then the New York Ripper is for you. I give it 2 horns only, based upon the fact that I found it an enjoyable experience to watch with others, but it's a nasty exploitation movie, and it does not hold a candle to some of the better movies from Lucio Fulci and some of the other giallo Italian films out there. So there's my 2. What do you guys think?
I'm gonna have to go with that as well. I'm gonna give it a 2 because, yeah, it's enjoyable to watch. I would recommend watching this once, but am I gonna repeat watch this like other movies like Zombie? No, I'm not gonna do that because it's very, 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 very hard to watch. Mainly the sexual stuff for me is what irks me when I watch it. It's just nasty. There's some really good kills in here though. Some of the kills are pretty well done effects and all that, but it's mainly the sexual stuff that's not gonna make me watch this again. It's just getting under my skin. Tex?
I would say, I don't know. I want to give it a little credit because they actually filmed in New York. That's not an easy task anymore. And I was actually really surprised how many scenes were just straight up New York City. And
right.
I want to give the credit for that. And just the weirdness, and I'll give it one horn up because for the cinematography, the quality of the film, and just think it was flat out just kind of weird.
Right, it was.
Okay, well, so we got a consensus there. Not the high rankings, but of a nasty little picture worth checking out if you're into that kind of thing. So he gets to leave the graveyard for now and have a new life, as far as I'm concerned. If you get an opportunity to see this movie with an audience, once again, this is one of those that collective audience reaction to things will probably benefit you. Lots of everybody cringing and going wah at the same time is always fun. Okay, well, so that concludes, I guess, our review of The New York Ripper, Lucio Fulci's nastiness. And I guess we'll move on from here. So, guys, I guess it's time for us to play our version of Sophie's Choice. Basically, what we do here is we take a year, we run through it, pick out movies from it, and pit them against each other, and we decide of the two which we think is one worth watching, digging out of the graveyard, and which one, well, basically, we're having to choose between two things we love if we do this right. It has been to my turn, and I lucked out with the year 1984. A great year in horror.
Great year.
Cool.
And so I got to go through, and I had a whole little list thing pitted up, and I'm going to have to kind of wing it a little bit here. Normally I just kind of look and see, but I actually had some of these are so worth putting up against each other. I will not want to make this easy on you guys or myself. Okay? Let me preface that right now. Tex, Andrew, you're not going to like to make some of these choices. All right?
Okay.
All right. Y'all ready?
Yep.
Ready.
Okay. Well, I'll just start off with a simple one. Of the Battle of the Christmas horror films, we have Don't Open Till Christmas versus Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Silent Night, Deadly Night. I really enjoy that film. It's a really campy B movie, and it's really fun. I don't really like the other one.
I haven't even seen the other one, Silent Night. I've seen Silent Night, Deadly Night, which is another weird movie, I think.
Oh, it is. I agree with that.
I haven't seen the other one, so
Alrighty.
I have to go with Silent Night.
All right. Well, I too will go with Silent Night, Deadly Night. Also being maybe I have seen both of them. I have a collection of Christmas horror movies that I watch each year for You'll Be Sorry, a little mini film festival I invite friends over to, and we watch the weirder, more obscure Christmas movies. Definitely going to go with Silent Night, Deadly Night, and Brian Wilson was a great person to meet. That plays the Billy, the Santa Claus killer guy. And great meeting him at Frightmare one year. All right.
You met him? That's cool.
Yeah, I've actually met him and the other one, Eric Freeman, who played Billy. I got to meet him at the last Frightmare. So I've met both the killer Santas from the first two Silent Night, Deadly movies.
Was he Garbage Day or was he?
Yeah, he was Garbage Day. Eric Freeman.
Garbage Day?
Yeah, that's great. I kept thinking to myself how many times he has to say that one. All right,
A
well, that's
lot.
launching us off. Let's see. Here's another one here. This is, we talked a little bit about this in the Apocrypha version of this. This is another Christmas horror movie, one of the
Ooh.
most well known. And it's hard to pit this against anything without knowing it will automatically win, but the choice is Gremlins versus not a Christmas movie, but a classic, The Toxic Avenger.
Gremlins.
Gremlins.
Obvious pick.
I
Yeah.
knew y'all.
Gremlins.
Yeah, Gremlins wins hands down. I couldn't put Gremlins against anything except the other two I really wanted to pit
Well,
each other against.
Let me explain though. But
Yeah, go ahead.
okay, so Gremlins is a classic film that starts off as a Christmas movie and it's all family friendly, and then it has the twist of the monsters being evil, which I really like that. That said, I do like Toxic Avenger as well. I think it's a really gritty, rated R, blood and gore, all that. It's not for everybody. I think it's an enjoyable film. I do own that film. It's really good. But Gremlins is also my favorite, though, movie to watch every Christmas. I'd go more Gremlins on this one than Toxic Avenger.
Very
Yeah,
good.
I wouldn't even. It's not even an issue for me. To me, it's or a debate. To me, it's just straight up Gremlins. I mean, it's a classic. I know maybe some people wouldn't even consider it a horror movie, but I
No,
mean, it has a lot of horror elements to me. I mean, I do. I think it's enough to throw it into the horror genre because I mean, there's some scary stuff in that movie and scary looking stuff, gross
Oh, yeah.
stuff.
I like
Borderline.
Gremlins because of the chicken, but I'd have to have been
Oh.
roughie there. I was
Oh,
thinking about fried
that's
chicken.
right,
It's
yep.
dinner time for me here, so I'm thinking
Well,
about fried chicken.
let's also not forget that really dark speech that girl has about her dad, going down the chimney and dying.
Oh, our
Yeah,
lovely
that's true.
Christmas
Shouldn't have
story.
been
I
in a
love it.
PG movie, but it was in there. They put that in there. It's very chilling, the speech she has.
But yeah, I agree with the fried chicken part. That's a good food to eat. If you watch Gremlins, you might want to munch on some chicken.
Yeah.
Huh?
Just not after midnight, or you. Okay. Let's see. Here's a fun group. Let's look at Night of the Comet.
Oh, okay. Oh,
All
shit.
right. Versus Children of the Corn.
Children of the Corn for me. I like Night
Yeah.
of the Comet. It's a fine movie, but Children of the Corn, Linda Hamilton, I mean, and just these scary kids, the weird
Children
music. Yeah.
Made me think about it more. Because there's things that I really appreciate, and I believe that the actor that they have is it Isaac? Or is that not that character's name? I can't 100% remember offhand, but
The
it's...
character's name is Isaac.
Okay, yeah. I believe that was actually not a child, and he was actually like 20 or something when they filmed that, if I'm not correct. Do correct me on that one.
I think you're right. I mean, I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure you're right, and he's playing that younger part. I will go with I like both movies a whole lot, of course. Children of the Corn, I didn't see till later in life, as a lot of my horror movies that I've seen.
Oh,
But I do think
okay.
it is one of the better Stephen King horror movies.
It is.
That said, I have a whole lot more fun with Night of the Comet, and it's got Alice Cooper, and I love it. I'm just going to have to go with it. So of those two, I'm going Night of the Comet just for its pure 80s joy that it gives me. All right. Let's take a look at a couple more here. There's some on here that I may go ahead and try to list off that I don't know if we've seen. I want to go ahead and get to some of these heavy business. Let's go with Chud, Cannibalistic Humanoid Underground Dwellers versus The Prey.
The Prey, easily. I'm sorry, Chud is a very boring movie to me.
I know you
movie
hate
is
Chud.
so boring. That movie advertises like the monster is in it, and it's barely in the frickin' movie, and that bothers me. And don't get me wrong, there's some good acting in it. But I'm bored to tears. The Prey did not bore me to tears. I'm sorry. Prey
Yeah,
on
The
this
Prey
one.
is great. Texas, you had a chance to see The Prey. I have a feeling you might have seen Chud.
You guys are, I don't know if you're going to be disappointed in me, but I have not seen either one of those movies.
No, I don't
Not
think it's anything
disappointing.
to be disappointed about at all. In fact, you might be doing yourself a favor. They're both notoriously bad and good in their own right. The Prey, I'm excited to tell you, after having a screening at Frightmare, will be released They have an Arrow. Actually, I'm trying to remember if it's Arrow Video or Severn Video, but there's a release coming, I think, this year, and we got to see a screening of what they had so far. I had never seen it before. Lots of fun with that one, and so I'm going to go with The Prey myself, even though I like both of them for a certain level of so bad they're great movies. Okay, I wanted to save this one for last. There are others here, but I kind of want to let's get this thing wrapped up a little bit. I thought y'all would appreciate this one just for the difficulty level. May not be difficult for you, but it's difficult as hell for me. A Nightmare on Elm Street versus Friday the 13th, the final chapter.
Both.
I might have to go both on that one because I really do enjoy both of those movies very much.
And if you don't go both, Dano, we're going to have a serious issue.
Maybe you don't understand the concept of Sophie's Choice. You know, you have to let one of them go or they both die.
Hey, you know what? Back the first time we did this, we had some boths. And I know you have a big problem with that, but that's just too bad, man. Both of them are pretty damn good.
So basically, you're saying you'd let both movies die?
No.
That's what you're saying, buddy. That's the Sophie's Choice.
We
you
all
can
have
only save one. You can only
together,
save one.
Wait, all right, hold on. What do you say, Dano? What's your choice?
See, this is where it turns around on me.
Uh-oh.
I fall off the. I'm gonna go both. I fall off the cliff and die with them.
Yes. Yes, I knew it.
I will say, I'm gonna tell you right now. I give a slight edge. A slight.
To Nightmare?
Edge.
And?
To
the Corey Feldman movie?
Friday the 13th, the final chapter.
Yes,
really?
I knew it. Corey Feldman wins.
It's not because of him. It's because of Crispin Glover's dance. Wins every fucking time.
That's right. I forgot about him being in that movie. That's also good to know. From Back to the Future. Really good role that he had in that movie. Actually, he gave it his all.
I agree with you, Tex, that both. It's too hard a decision, but I just wanted to see if y'all guys could make the Sophie choice.
And I would give the slight edge to Nightmare. Johnny
Depp.
And if you said any other Nightmare, Friday the 13th movie, I would probably choose Nightmare on Elm Street. But Part 4 is one of the. I mean, that's the most intense. Arguably one of the most graphic.
Yeah.
It wraps up the part 1, 2, and 3 storyline. The music is like crescendo. Everything about part 4 is just like on. But Nightmare on Elm Street, I mean we don't.
I knew that was gonna be a tough one.
It is a tough one. Andrew, do you got more to say? Do you have an edge on either one of them, or
do you die with them?
I love both of those movies, and I think both of them have a lot of good qualities about them. I think Johnny Depp was pretty good in Nightmare on Elm Street, but I really do enjoy that film altogether. But then also the fourth one of the Friday the 13th series is, arguably to some people is the best one. You know, to me it is one of the best ones. The kills are pretty good. The actors that they chose are pretty good. Corey Feldman's also a plus. I think he was really good in that movie as well. But I don't know how you guys feel about him in that movie.
No, I thought he was
totally
great. He was
great. Everything you just said.
He did a great job as a kid.
Yeah, he killed Jason.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I wish they could have put that in the game, but they did not bother even mentioning Corey Feldman in the video game.
We could have a whole rant about the game. We'll have to say that for another time.
That'll be a bonus episode someday.
The great love of the game and that brought us together, and the mutual loathing we probably all have because of the problems that it suffered and a basic abandonment by the creator. Oh yeah, I said we were going to save it for another time.
Okay, let's save that for a Patreon episode if we ever get that off the ground.
There's no other 1984 movies that are worth bringing up.
Okay, all right.
Come on, let's go.
I was going to try to crescendo with that, but I'll see these others. I don't know. There's a lot of these I haven't seen at all, but I'll give them a chance with you guys. All right.
Yeah, don't forget 1982 when we did that during our podcast.
I know. There's a lot in there. Okay, this has got. All right, here we go. Bloodsuckers from Outer Space versus the Barbaric Beast of Boggy Creek Part 2.
Damn.
Yeah, I've seen the first one, not the second one.
I've never seen either. Which one are you going with, Andrew?
Yeah. That first one sucked, though. I didn't like that movie, so I choose none.
So you saw them both?
Let But I've only seen the first one. I just go no.
You just let them
First
both
Amendment.
fall off the cliff. Okay, that's fair enough. You see, that's an easier decision. You either die with them or you just drop them both. Okay, Tex, what do you think? Have you seen either of those?
I've never seen either one.
I have not. I think I vaguely remember Bloodsuckers from Outer Space, but I honestly haven't seen it.
I don't remember that being very good from what I remember, but
All
it's been a
right.
while.
And so since we're going to backtrack even further, and there was another Satan's something in this one. Let's say Satan's Blade versus The Initiation. There's something about those two. I think that might be similar. I don't know.
I've seen a video about The Initiation. I've not watched the movie, so that's not really fair.
Yeah,
to vote on this one.
Once again, a lot of these are some I haven't seen at all either. So, what do you think?
The other one?
It was Satan's Blade versus
They sound like good movies, but
The Initiation. The Initiation.
I haven't seen either one.
Yeah, me either. All right. So
next.
That's pretty much all right. Well, I'll name two more that we probably haven't seen, and that way we can just make this thing last longer. The Sea Serpent versus Scream for Help.
Damn.
Frick. Dude, I haven't heard of these either.
I haven't heard of either one of those.
I told you, man. This particular year has equal parts great, memorable, classic horror movies versus some that what was that one again? I don't know.
There was nothing else in '84 that
That's all I'm seeing on here. We got Razorback versus Peruna Mander, whatever that is. And
I've heard people talk about Razorback, but I've never seen that.
That's pretty much it, bud.
Wow.
I mean, like I said, some heavyweights, but not a whole lot of others making up the mesh. So I enjoyed the talk about the Friday the 13th versus Nightmare on Elm Street. I knew that was going to be a choice. Great year for that year had best Friday the 13th movie, arguably best Nightmare on Elm Street movie, maybe the best Christmas horror movie ever, one of the best B-rated movies, Toxic Avengers, and then you have Gremlins. How can you go wrong? What a great year, 1984.
But it is hard to compare Gremlins to the Toxic Avenger because the Toxic Avenger was a trauma film that
I know
it's a B movie, so that's
I had it compared to something else earlier.
Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. One can argue that Toxic Avenger has some of that grossness that Gremlins had a dash of, when the Mogwai are, going through their metamorphosis and, everything's all gooey and gross and stuff. And, when Stripe melts, that was kind of gooey and gross. That's kind of comparable a little bit to Toxic Avenger. I'm just, picking at little things there, but
I wouldn't have thought of it that way. But that's interesting.
I kind of picked them because they were opposites. I thought of them as opposites.
They are. Story-wise, yeah.
You got your big budget, released theatrical Joe Dante movie versus Lloyd Kaufman's Schlock film.
Well,
both are admirable in their own right. So I just kind of wanted to see what y'all are in the mood for more, like a patio burrito or Casa Garcia. So,
Andrew, what were you trying to throw in there?
Sorry.
Well, because I don't. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think that they kill any children in the Gremlins. Am I correct on that one? They do not.
I guess not. No.
But in the Toxic Avenger, they do run over a child on a bike in that movie. So that's much more darker than Gremlins. Just slightly. Definitely, for sure. Well,
to refresh my memory, too, Toxic Avenger had that scene where there was a scene in the gym, right? And all these people in the gym were making fun of that dude.
That's correct.
And then that was when from there is when he turned into the Toxic Avenger after he fell out a window, right?
Yeah, that's correct. That's what happened.
That gym scene was kind of dorky, or at least all those people, the way they were dressed. It's really terrible.
Yeah, it was a different time when they filmed that movie.
All right, guys. Well, my dog is farting in my face, so it's time for me to wrap things up. But
oh boy,
he just came in here and sneezed and farted in my face, so I think he has to go potty.
Well, all right, segue. We're done.
But
it was a pleasure, as always.
Indeed, fellas.
Yes.
All right. Well, you guys want to wrap it up for us? Either of you guys? You want to take us out, Andrew or Tex?
It's
Andrew.
time to leave, folks. All right, goodbye.
No, that's not really what but all right, it has been fun to record this new episode with you guys, and this is Video Store Graveyard. We are closing. Tex, any final thoughts?
No, everyone take care and have a good one.
Meh.
Time to rewind and open your mind. No late fees to annoy you this time. Video store might be no more, but we're digging up movies worth watching them for. Time to power up the VCR. Headed to the graveyard of films near and far. Watching the strangeness we find on the way. Three crazy friendos with plenty to say. Come on our journey if you're so inclined. Leave sanity, hope, and good taste behind. Life isn't easy, but whatever is. Video Store Graveyard is open for biz. Time to rewind and open your mind. No late fees to annoy you this time. Video Store might be no more, but we're digging up movies worth watching them for. Time to rewind and open your mind. No late fees to annoy you this time. Video Store might be no more, but we're digging up movies worth watching them for.